What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing? This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, and right over there is my main man, Heath Hopkins. Heath, how are you doing, sir?
Excellent, Stephen. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, and I've got to tell you, man, we are so close to the start of the college football season, and on the Stingray Show on Tide 100.9 this week, we are rolling on with our SEC preview show starting Tuesday evening right down there on Tide 100.9. We are doing the LSU preview show with Preston Guy, and then on Thursday evening we are doing our Arkansas preview show with the one and only John Neighbors.
You know, Preston's always a fun guy to talk to, but John always keeps me in stitches. But
Yes.
It was fun talking to both of those guys. Both of them are really looking forward to the season. I got my questions about LSU. I got my questions about Arkansas, but they're pretty confident of the season they're both going to have.
And I would also like to mention, for those of you guys that are watching this right now in the great state of Mississippi, the Mississippi State show will be Tuesday, August the 16th, and then Ole Miss will be August the 18th on Thursday. So we're rolling right on along, and then of course the Alabama show will be August the 25th. So we are rolling right along with our SEC previews.
Steven, let's do some fun questions. In and out of football. How about that?
Sounds good, my man. Let's go.
All right. Steven, what was your last meal?
It's not very glamorous, but it was boiled eggs.
Healthier than what I had. I had the Dose cheeseburger meal at McDonald's.
That's awesome, man. So let me go ahead and ask you, going into the season, list your top 3 quarterbacks in the SEC, please.
In the SEC. Of course, you got to go with the Heisman winner, Bryce Young.
Yes.
You know, I'm not hating on Will Levis in Kentucky. I'm not. But he's not there. He's not number 2. You know what? I'm going to go Stetson Bennett. Why? Because he did it on the field.
Yes.
Is he NFL material? No. Is he a dang good college quarterback? Absolutely.
Yes.
And he'll be a legend for many years to come in Athens. So Bryce Young, number 1. Stetson Bennett, number 2. Let's see. I'm going to go I really like KJ Jefferson. He's a local guy here from Mississippi, playing over at Arkansas. But you know what? I'm going with the singing cowboy, Will Rogers.
Yes.
Had a phenomenal season last year. Only 2 people had better seasons than him in the SEC, in the history of the SEC, and both those guys won Heismans. So there you go. There's my 3. What about your 3, Stephen?
Quick follow-up to that for you before I give you mine. Where do you think Spencer Rattler falls in the list of quarterbacks? Because let's remind people, Spencer Rattler transferred in from Oklahoma to South Carolina and possibly is going to be the main man for the Gamecocks moving forward.
Well, very simple with Spencer Rattler. Who has more football talent, Oklahoma or South Carolina?
Oklahoma.
So, is he going to do better or worse at Oklahoma or South Carolina with less talent around him?
Right. I mean, but you know what? Like you said before, It's all about the scheme and about the system that you run. He may fit in better in Shane Beamer's system than he did with Lincoln Riley.
I think you're right about that. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Right.
Great year. I got to see it first. So that's my
Yes.
holdup with Spencer Rattler.
It's all going to come up here. Can he put what's up here onto the field every single week? Okay, my top three quarterbacks, you got to go with the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, obviously. Now, he did not win the national championship last year, but he did win the hardware, so I've got to give him some love there. Number two, I'm going to Stetson Bennett because he did win the ring last year. Obviously, he's going to be a gunslinger this year as well. And then number three, I think you're going to have Will Rogers over at Mississippi State. However, I would like to also mention going in at number four, I'm going to go with a shocker here, Heath. I'm actually going Hendon Hooker up there at Tennessee.
Not a shocker at all. He's a phenomenal quarterback. So much depth this year under center in the SEC. Tons of depth. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how the season plays out because there's going to be guys that are going to be drafted who probably won't even make third team All-SEC. So,
yes,
tons of depth this year in the SEC. All right, Stephen, let me see. Fun question, not football related. Where would you like to go on vacation?
Shocker, because I'm usually the low key kind of guy, but I've always wanted to see Vegas.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not for gambling, but for the shows and of course all of the lights and the signs and all of that.
Been to Vegas twice, love it. Absolutely love it. So BYU and Mississippi State played a Thursday night game. Oh gosh, I think that's 1999, 2000, somewhere around there, maybe 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to that game and I found out Vegas was 5-6 hours away. So we made the car hop over there and we had a blast.
Right. All right. Who are going back to college football? Because you know me, I've got to do the college football thing. Who are your sleeper teams in the SEC this season?
Ooh. Well, I don't think it will be South Carolina this year. I think they snuck up on a lot of people last year. I don't think they're going to do that again this year.
Right.
I don't want to call them a sleeper, but how they ended the season last year, I think we can. I think the Florida Gators are going to be sneaky good. I don't think they're going to be great. I don't think they're going to be flirting with the college football playoff. I don't think they'll be flirting with the SEC East. I think they're flirting with double-digit wins in year one.
Oh, yeah.
With Billy Napier. So I'm going to go Florida Gators.
Right. Well,
what about you?
I don't really think we have any sleepers in the SEC this year. I think you pretty much know with the season where we start is pretty much what we can expect from them. I think you're going to be 9 or 10 wins from Arkansas. I don't think they're going to surprise anybody. I don't think LSU is going to because of their brand new coach and the quarterback situation down there. A&M, but I mean, if they fall off, was last year a fluke? Who knows? If they jump up and have a stellar year with the talent that he's brought in, is that a surprise? No, not really. You look at Ole Miss, without the quarterback situation there, they're probably going to take a small step back. And then, of course, you look at Alabama. Everybody's picking them to win the SEC and the national championship. And then Auburn is kind of nobody's talking about them. So, they're not really going to be a sleeper team. And then over in the East, you've got Tennessee, supposed to be a little bit better this year under Josh Heupel. You've got Kentucky, who could very well be a 10-win football team because, they're expected to with Will Levis. So really, there's not really that big of a sleeper team per se in the SEC. I will say this, though. It will be a shocker if Vandy goes on a run. I think that's going to be a bigger story than any other one team in the SEC.
Would it be a shocker if Vandy starts the season 2-0?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
I'm calling it. It's not a shocker. We're pulling for you, Vandy, out on the island playing Hawaii first week of the season. Actually, week 0 of the season. You start a week before everybody
Oh,
else. So
yeah.
good luck to Vanderbilt. All right, Stephen, here we go. Fun question, not football. And I'll even answer it first for myself. What is the last song you listened to? I heard it before I left the house. Conway Twitty, Tiger in those tight-fitting jeans. That was playing when I was leaving the house.
That's awesome, man. I'm actually going to have to go a little bit newer than that, actually quite a bit newer than that. Imagine Dragons off the Evolve album. I don't know why.
Wow. Called the album and everything.
Yes.
Nice. All right, another fun question. When's the last time you left the state of Alabama?
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think. It was probably in the spring when I had to go over to Starkville, Mississippi to pick up my books for my classes at Mississippi State.
Wow. So it's been
So
a
it's
little
been a
while.
minute, yes.
Wow. Last time I left the state of Mississippi, last night I had dinner. But I live in the tri-state area. I live just south of Memphis. I live in a suburb of Memphis. So, I went to Majestic Grill, downtown Memphis over by the Orpheum for dinner last night.
That's awesome. What'd you get, man?
I went with the salmon and garlic mashed potatoes. So we had the Cajun egg rolls as an appetizer.
Man.
So I've never been to the Majestic Grill. It's an old movie theater from the early 1900s that they've turned into this fine dining restaurant in downtown Memphis, and it's been around for a long time. I just never been, and me and my wife decided to go last night. We had a good time. I posted a picture or two on Instagram. You can go look at it there.
Right. Hey, my last question, because it's rapid fire here. My last question for you, and I'm going to actually start first. Your final 4 playoff teams. I'm going Ohio State, Alabama, Utah, and I'm going to throw Clemson in there. I don't think Georgia has enough to get back there because they lost so much.
You stole my line, but okay. I was going to say that I think there's only going to be one SEC team in the college football playoff this year, not 2, and we can stop the fun talk of 3 like we were doing this time last year.
Right.
But I think Alabama easily goes. I think Alabama wins. I think this is going to be one of the better, if not the best, Alabama team that Nick Saban's ever had. I really do believe that. So it doesn't really matter, I think, if Ohio State's going to be there or whoever. I'm not going to say who I think is going to be there. I'm going to say who I hope is going to be there. I'd like to see Utah. I think it'd be good for the game of football.
Yes.
I don't want to see Notre Dame, but I think they will be there.
Right.
I think USC would be good for football, but I don't see it happening. I'd like to see Oklahoma there, but Oklahoma makes the playoff every year, it seems like, and they get blown out by 40. So I'm just not really digging that. You know what, Stephen? It really doesn't matter who goes because I think it's Alabama's year, and I think this is going to be one of the best Alabama teams, most dominant Alabama team. They may not be the most talented, but I think they're going to win by the largest margin of any Alabama team in previous years. I'll say it.
Okay. Now, I would like to also caution you, though, Heath.
Go for it.
As I am multitasking here, there is a person that we are actually going to have on in the coming days and the coming weeks that actually feels like it is Ohio State's year to win it all. And that is the living legend, Timmy B.
Well, I'd love to hear Timmy B. He's a friend of the show, has been on multiple times.
Yes.
Tim Brando knows his college football. I mean, he was the original host of College Game Day. He was in the SEC on CBS in the studio in New York for many decades.
Right.
He now does Pac-12 games here on Fox. So Timmy B knows his college football. He's been all over the nation. He's been in studios. He's hosted many national college football shows. He knows his stuff. So I'll be interested to see what Timmy B has to say. And if I'm not mistaken, we interview him, this Wednesday? And that show will air sometime next week, right?
Yes.
So there you go. But yeah, Timmy B's always fun to have on. Well, Steven?
Keep talking, man. Let's go.
Yeah? Well, where are we going with now?
You got some more rapid fire questions for me, don't you?
Let's see. Oh, yes, I have one more, Steven. My last rapid fire question. We're going to see what kind of real man you are on this question, Steven. Who's your favorite Spice Girl, Steven?
I have no idea because I've never listened to a song. So
fake news. Everybody listened to the Spice Girl, but you couldn't get away from it. If you wanted to, you couldn't get away from it. It's like the sunshine. You can go anywhere. It's going to get you.
Right. What about you, Heath?
I was a fan of all except for Sporty and Scary Spice. But, if you made me pick one, I think I'm either going to go between Posh and Ginger.
Right.
So there you go, man. So with that being said, Steven, with that, college football is almost here. The Stingray Show on ESPN 100.9 there in Tuscaloosa. People have been checking out our podcast. Now the podcast has turned into a radio show thanks to you guys.
Yes.
So, Steven, tell them where they can catch us.
Just a second, Heath. Going ahead and ad-lib just a little bit more. I should have done this before we came on, but I apologize.
So the fun of going live. So, no, when Steve and I started the show almost 2 years ago, it was just a fun little podcast, and then it just kind of took off. And we want to thank you guys, the SEC fans that really came out. We even want to thank you haters that even came out and listened to it and sent us some fun messages. The numbers have been dynamic. The show has grown over and over and over. And, Tide 100, they're now the home for us, 100.9 there in Tuscaloosa, ESPN Radio. They brought us on. There's some other radio stations that have reached out to us as well, but we'll keep that a secret for right now. But we just want to thank everyone that's tuned into the podcast, and we hope to syndicate the show soon. But with that being said, our first home, and we'll always remember it, 100.9 ESPN Radio, the Tide.
Absolutely. Okay, so like I said, the LSU preview show is this Tuesday, right after Ryan Fowler, right up there on Tide 100.9 here in Tuscaloosa. You can also find all of our previous episodes, Heath, on the Apple Podcast and the Spotify app as well. I was making those graphics right down there as you were talking. So that's what I was doing. I was getting those ready to go. So all of our previous guests, including John Bradshaw Layfield and also Eric Bischoff, those shows are on the podcast now. And all of our previous preview shows of the SEC East teams are there on the podcast on the Apple Podcast and Spotify under the Stingray Show.
And we'll have the SEC West shows when we wrap them up. We've recorded most of them.
Yes.
Some have not aired yet. I think we have one school left to record, if I'm not mistaken. I think we got to do Ole Miss. That's Auburn.
Yes.
Ole Miss and Auburn. Those are the two last shows that we got to record. So you'll get to see all the SEC West shows here shortly as well.
Yes.
So if you want to check in on your team or your least favorite team, you can always check out those podcasts. We always got beat writers checking in with us on the show. That's who we've been interviewing.
I will say this, though, Heath. I will say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we did have one national guy join us for Tennessee, and that was Chris Lowe.
Yeah, Chris Lowe from ESPN.
Yes.
College football writer. Chris has always been phenomenal. He's a friend of the show. He's been on several times.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved Chris. Chris is a high-ethic kind of guy, and if he reports it, it is absolutely true. And it is based in fact, and he has triple-checked the sources. I've always enjoyed having Chris Lowe. Such a high-character guy and a great writer on top of that.
Hey, real quick, you and I were talking about this guy when we were trying to record last Wednesday. We are going to have this guy on the show at some point this season.
I am absolutely looking forward to Nacho Alabama.
That is going to be absolutely fantastic. So you will definitely need to tune in for that episode. We will get in contact with Nacho Alabama and let you guys know when he is going to be on the show, but that will be a lot of fun. Heath, one more thing before we get out of here. We really do want to thank our advertisers and, of course, our sponsor. Our sponsor is actually going to be First Class Real Estate South Home Group here in Tuscaloosa. Celeste Hagler, she is a realtor here and she owns First Class Real Estate South Home Groups. They have offices here in Tuscaloosa, in Huntsville, and Orange Beach. And October the 1st, she is opening up her office in Auburn. So things are really shaking and moving for First Class Home Real Estate South Home Group. And make sure that you contact Celeste Hagler. Her contact information is down below. Also, others that we want to thank are South's Finest Meats right here in Tuscaloosa. Cribbs Law, J.R. Cribbs, who is a personal injury lawyer here in Tuscaloosa. And then always our favorite, Heath, Flavas, Seafood and Soul Food right there in University Mall by Tuscaloosa's own Titus Brown. So you're definitely going to want to check out all of the wonderful food at Flavors, all of the wonderful food there at South's Finest Meats in Tuscaloosa. And then, of course, if you need a personal injury lawyer, contact Cribbs Law.
You know, Flavus, Titus Brown. That's a former all SEC linebacker, Titus Brown,
Yes.
right? Played at Mississippi State. Was on those Sylvester Croom teams.
Yes.
There he is. Hey, Titus, I see you.
Yep.
What's happening, brother?
So, yep, he is there. So make sure you do check out his restaurant along with Ashley Williams. They both there are at Flavas at the University Mall location. Now, they used to be at another location, but they have opened up there in University Mall. And every Sunday is their soul food day, and it is absolutely fantastic, my friend.
You know, Stephen, I'm going to leave on a high note with Titus. Titus, thank you. If I'm not mistaken, the 07 Egg Bowl, I think you made the last tackle of the game, and the ball came loose, and you picked it up and just hurled it in the air. Thank you for that. I won't forget it.
Yes, and I do. Now, this is how my memory is. Now, I could be wrong, but I do think the quarterback for Ole Miss on that football team was, wait for it, Brent Schaefer.
I believe you are correct, sir. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I remember that. That was the famous Derek McGee's game. Yeah, which we've had Dave Neal on the show who did that famous call. And if I'm not mistaken, Dave will be on the show here in the near future. So,
yes.
But with that, yeah, Titus, you left us with some great memories, brother. Thank you.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, that was going to wrap up the fun with Stingray. The fun with the Stingray show, Heath. You know, this is something new that we're going to do every week or every few weeks to get you guys excited about the Stingray show and what's going on here on Tide 100 and elsewhere.
Well, with that, Stephen, tell them where they can find us and see us, and let's go home.
Absolutely. All right. One more time. All of our previous episodes that we've done on the radio are going to be right down there on the Apple Podcast under the Stingray Show and also Spotify. And then, of course, this upcoming Tuesday evening, it is going to be the LSU preview show. And then on Thursday, we're talking all things Hogs and Sam Pittman. And so the Tuesday show will be at 6 to 7 after Ryan Fowler. And then on Thursday, it will air at 9 o'clock. And Heath, let me also briefly tell you guys about this quick update. On the 18th of August, that is the first show of Hey Coach there at Bob Baumhauer's Wings. And right after Hey Coach goes off the air, the Stingray show will immediately follow Hey Coach. So things are definitely heading in the right direction for the Stingray show. And we could not make any of this possible without you guys, the loyal followers and listeners of the Stingray show. And we thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are never, ever going to forget you with all of the stuff that you guys have done for us and the places that you guys are putting us, because we put out great content and you guys love it. So thank you.
Steven, you sound like Rose from the Titanic. I'll never forget you.
But you will have to say though.
Oh, absolutely. Very grateful for our sponsors. Very grateful for you guys tuning in and listening to us. Hey, this show has been about you. We want to interview guys and ask them questions that we thought that you want to know, the questions you would ask them. And that's what the show has always been about. It's been about SEC football and about fans. And, we're a show of passion.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we do. We sell passion to you guys. And we have thoroughly enjoyed every second of it because there's not a more passionate fan base than the SEC.
Absolutely. All right, Heath, going ahead and sign off with your favorite tagline, my friend.
My favorite tagline? Or is it your favorite tagline?
Or both of ours.
Oh, okay. Well, with that being said, the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it because it's the best show going today, baby.
And we are out. Thank you, guys.
Woo!